Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to talk about VeChain again and how it was the only blockchain along with its partner DNVGL at China's first important products traceability expo. Now this is sponsored by the Chinese government and there's actually a video about this. I will link the video in the description of this video, but this is not so much important because VeChain attended another expo. It's that they were the only blockchain company there, along with their partner DNVGL, and they were showing off their products to many companies. And they said they held a strategic advantage, monopoly, and it's a state-sponsored monopoly if that is the case, because I don't really see any other this kind of logistics blockchain product in China, which means the government likes it and it's probably the government endorsed one in that country. There's been more and more evidence for that. Now, I can't say for sure that it is a government endorsed monopoly, but it sure really looks like it right now. There are a bunch of high officials there, and this traceability expo is basically how to trace a product from origin until shelf. And China is probably the biggest logistics market in the world, having the world's largest population and a lot of consumer outlets. China is trying to transform from an export-based country to a consumer-based country. And because of that, they're using blockchain for tracing on wines, which VeChain's already in. They're doing just regular products like Walmart China, food, and it even mentions a Norwegian kind of fish company using VeChain blockchain in another kind of application. So this is actually very important because it's more of a Chinese government sanctioned and hosted products traceability expo. VeChain was the only blockchain solution there along with DNVGL, and those two are partnered together and they're moving the market within China. Now, there's problems because of the US-Chinese trade war. VeChain might not get accepted at American exchange, but eventually that trade war will blow over, either because we get a new president or because they work out some kind of a deal. And because of that, I actually do believe to get into the Chinese market, other solutions are going to have to partner with VeChain. That's why the IBM rumor is so hot, because I don't think IBM can actually get into the Chinese market without partnering with VeChain somehow. Because the government may not like them as much. So the video says there's definitely demand for public traceability blockchains to inspire consumer confidence, but that it really looks like that VeChain is cornering the market in the world's largest logistics market. Now, the logistics market in China is worth trillions of dollars, but once again, you can't measure VeChain's market like that because we don't know what percentage of the logistics market actually applies to blockchain. And it's not 100%. It's probably like 10 or 15% or something like that. So it's hard for me to gauge the size of the entire market because it's consistently growing. And this is kind of a new frontier, for Chinese products and traceability. And Chinese people are demanding traceability on their products. They want like real products that they're actually paying for, especially the richer people who are paying high dollars. So that's really important that that VeChain gets the Chinese government endorsement because that would allow them to expand into all of China without much competition. Now, otherwise, if there was competition, there'd be IBM, there'd be IOTA, there'd be VeChain and all these other chains, or not VeChain, Walton Chain and all these other chains that would be competing. But if it's government sanctioned, then there is going to be no competition, or very little competition, or as I call it, fake competition. It's how there's 30 parties in China, but there's only one that really matters, kind of like that. So I actually really believe that this is an important step, and it gives more proof that VeChain is the government-endorsed blockchain, and that's the important part because that gives it almost free reign in China for the future logistics and traceability industry. So it might actually have a monopoly. Now, this is going to take a long time to develop because even if it does have a monopoly, all these companies are going to take a long time to actually come onto this chain, especially with their product lines. These are huge companies like Walmart China, Haier, and a bunch of the other big chain stores in China. They're going to take a couple of years to come on. So, don't expect to get rich in the next few weeks or even in the next few months, but wait a couple of years and see how this turns out. But this is definitely good business to have almost a grip on the Chinese logistics market. And, if IBM wants to get in, they might actually have to work out a deal with VeChain, which would be better for us because that would actually allow VeChain to actually spread into the other parts of the world. So I looked forward to having VeChain at more of these expos. and taking center stage. You should really watch this video. It is in English, it's not in Chinese, so you'll be able to understand this. And it's a very good view on what VeChain is actually doing in China and why it will succeed in China. Now, outside of China, I have no idea if it'll succeed or not. There's a lot of competition, and they don't have the state endorsement. Maybe they do in Italy, but otherwise, they don't really have the state endorsement outside of China. But with the state endorsement in China, they can go really far. And even if they only stay in China, that is a giant market, and that can make your investment worth a lot. But you will probably have to wait a few years. And if you want to get rich tomorrow, you're going to have to go with one of those crap coins and hope it goes up 1000x. But VeChain is definitely, an investment for several years in the future. And it looks like it does have some kind of government endorsement, and it's involved with the government at a fairly high level in the logistics industry. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you, and have a nice day, people.